Welcome, welcome, guys. It is Mo in the deep end. Welcome, Eris. Thank you for being our lovely mod. And Wolfram, Phoenix Fire, and Squid Pro Quo. Look, y'all, January is putting in a sprint. Have all 15 of your bingo cards ready because I don't know what these last few days are going to bring, but apparently life comes at you fast, and 2024 is carb loading for February to be all of the cray cray. Flash Fan 85, I hope you are doing well. I am doing okay. Our first story, NYC Brothers had, quote, human sacrifice, end quote, hit list for judges, cops with a stockpile of, well, explodey things, force multipliers, says the DA. Always good, those lovely force multipliers and boomy things. Two brothers who kept a quote-unquote human sacrifice hit list of cops, judges, politicians, celebrities, and banker scum were nabbed with an arsenal of homemade boom booms and printed force multipliers in their family's Queens apartment, prosecutors said on Monday. It's just a normal Monday. Who doesn't have a bunch of stuff all over there? Wannabe anarchist Andrew Hatzigadlis, 39, and his 51-year-old brother Angelo were hit with a 130-count indictment after cops, federal agents seized a cache of weapons, including improvised explosive devices, body armor, and a collection of AR-style and 9mm scary force multipliers. Welcome, Jude. Thank you so much. Squid Pro Quo, I'm just happy that I have some followers. And, it's a grind. You just put in your work, and I'm sure that, everyone has to put in their time and people will find you. It's just how it is. Besides, I haven't gotten... I didn't because I was dealing with Delphi BS. So I do have... It is a longer video. I'll promote my stuff, but then I will... I did see the eventual verdict. So, it is a longer video. It's about an hour, but I go through the affidavit that the defense team puts in for Judge Gull to be removed. That is the special judge in charge of the Delphi case. Not only is this woman have the nerve to talk about the defense team being grossly incompetent and negligent, this woman has yet to pay these defense attorneys since almost last August. Yeah. And the prosecutor withheld exculpatory evidence for 4 months, but he just filed a motion of contempt on the defense. I don't know what's going on in jurisprudence lately, but apparently everyone has taken the let's just stuff January full of BS. Now on to the Murdaugh case. I think we kind of all knew that the judge in the Murdaugh case was going to say that there was some inappropriate contact, but it didn't rise to a level that she found contemptuous. That being said, I do think that with all the shenanigans that happened today and the fact that there were several witnesses and things that she didn't allow in, I do think there is a good chance that it will be taken up to the Supreme Court and appealed again. I think that there is just too much smoke and there's too much fire, and I think now that these things are really being... LawTube is doing a great job of waking up the normies that there is so much of this sort of BS, this politicking, this kabuki theater going on that they can't hide it anymore. And yeah, Squid Pro Quo, I mean, Murdaugh is no one that I would invite over for dinner. He's not someone I would trust with even, a quarter of my own money. And I mean like 25 cents, not a quarter of my gross or net, but 25, my Aldi's quarter. Uh, but I do think, yeah, that was a woman. That was that was a woman. The judge was a woman. I know it's shocking. JKD Buck, welcome, and Will Call Magic. But I do think that the fact that watching cases, watching law, watching these court things with real lawyers and having them explain the nuance and then having lay people kind of ask the questions that people would, I do think that this is waking up normies. I think people are becoming more cognizant of the fact that is corruption even on a base level like this. I think we are seeing people waking up. And I think that, look, does Alex Murdaugh deserve a new case? Yes. And I think that there is going to be a groundswell, just like there was a groundswell in Delphi. When it first happened, everyone was ready to, pitch Richard Allen into a dark hole and throw away the key. But we are seeing this constant, pervasive pattern. Yes, I am monetized. We are seeing a constant, pervasive pattern of the state and judges working together, which they are not supposed uh, to kind of pervert the course of justice. And having a free ish and open ish internet is helping that. I think X being much more open and starting its own sort of media is really going to open things up here. I think the pendulum is swinging. So I think you're always going to have your law and crime, but I think more people are waking up to the fact that there is this innate corruption. And while this doesn't help Alex Murdaugh right now, I think people are waking up. And I think that the groundswell of public opinion is going to make people very irritated. I think all federal trials should be filmed. The fact that a lot of child abuse cases, especially, the Josh Duggar type cases, are federalized and they're not covered is upsetting and alarming. But that's just me. Okay, so they had a bunch of scary things in New York. Now, my question is, you live in an apartment with your entire family. Where do you hide all of your, uh, you know, all of your scary bad stuff from your mom? You don't have a basement. The pair also allegedly scribbled a quote unquote hit list on a scrap of notebook paper. Did they use a crayon? That included potential targets that also listed corporate scum. Quote, wipe out scum, end quote. The disturbing note said, wipe out the earth, the line marked as the chorus hit list. Human sacrifices, a written rant on a separate page says, permittable, but only for the corrupt grapist, P words, unalivers, politicians, and judges. I mean, it's sad when you kind of are like, well, that's why we have Snake Island, sirs. The bus came after a joint operation with the Queens District Attorney's Office and the NYPD and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. The city is much safer today, Queens DA Melinda Katz said in a statement on Monday. We cannot measure the number of lives that were saved, but we do know that these weapons will never hurt anyone. Well, yes, weapons never hurt anyone. People hurt people. Oh, well, yeah, you two look, Oh, I'm sorry, Dennis. That stinks. Ugh. Get a lot of fluids and get some rest. Yikes. Uh, the Hatzegoutzlitz brothers, look, both of you, I'm butchering your names, but seriously, I don't think you mind too much. You seem to be both allergic to, well, order and deodorant and grooming, so I'm not going to be too worried about that, okay? Ran a ghost forced multiplier manufacturing operation inside the apartment they shared with their mother and another brother on 36th Avenue in Astoria, according to the indictment. Cops executed a search warrant at the home on January 17th and discovered the alarming arsenal. He looks like if Rasputin and Jesus morphed together and were both really high. It's probably sacrilegious somewhere. Among the weapons seized were 8 homemade go booms, 1 partially constructed tripwire go boom, 2 loaded AR style rifles, 2 semi automatic 9mm hand force multipliers, and a bunch of untraceable ghost forced multipliers, 600 rounds of ammunition. How did you guys get 600 rounds of ammunition? And 3 sets of body armors, officials said. Well, there you go. They could have, I mean, it is New York. They could have just been, I'm sorry. Well, you know, I am monetized now, so I have to make up these wonderful language creoles in order to not say real things that CNN can say. And welcome, Pampered Princess. In addition, the brothers allegedly had a series of notebooks with go boom making instructions along with anarchist related propaganda and 3D printers used for manufacturing said things. Today's charges underscore the harsh reality that our communities contain a small number of people who conceivably harbor ill intent, NYPD Commissioner Edward Caban says in a statement. This cachet of all of these things could have done horrendous carnage. Yeah, they face up to 25 years in prison if convicted. That was 133 counts and they faced up to 25 years? Okay. Interesting. I know Veilhammer is going to be working on this case soon, but judge sets April hearing on the release request from woman involved in Slender Man attack as a child. Now, from our favorite place, Waukesha in Wisconsin, the land of joy and happiness. A Wisconsin judge will hold a hearing in April to determine whether the second of 2 women who nearly stabbed their 6th grade classmate to unaliveness in 2014 will to please online horror character Slender Man should be released from a psychiatric hospital. Morgan Geyser, 21, asked Waukesha County Circuit Judge Michael Boren on January 16th to grant her conditional release from the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. Geyser made a similar request for conditional release in 2022, but withdrew the petition 2 months after filing it. Bonrin held a brief hearing on the request Monday. He appointed 3 psychiatric experts, 1 on behalf of Geyser, 1 on behalf of prosecutors, and the 3rd as a court appointee to examine her and produce reports on her current mental condition by March 1st. He set a hearing for April 10th to 11th to consider the reports and possibly rule on a release request. Geyser appeared via video from Winnebago. She softly replied, "Yes, sir," when Baldwin asked her if she was able to see and hear the proceedings, and "No, sir," when he asked her if she had any questions. Geyser and Anissa Weir were 12 years old in 2014 when they lured sixth grade classmate Peyton Littner to a Waukesha park for or after a sleepover. Geyser stabbed Littner repeatedly while Weir egged her on. Now, both of these girls stabbed her. Geyser wasn't the only one. Now, Geyser was diagnosed with early child onset schizophrenia. So that is one thing to keep in mind when she did actually, when she was actually finally taken care of and taken into, custody, they did find out that she had this. Now, she was kept in a prison facility for a while until they finally took her to the mental facility to get her competent for trial. Now, uh, yeah, I think these were the ones that they said they would go on 3. It would I would have to see really good, um the problem with schizophrenia I have found, and I am not a doctorologist, a mentalologist, or even play one on TV, is that if you have this particular disease, you are very likely to not be compliant with your medication. And your medication is, the only thing basically keeping you tethered to reality. And a lot of times, people with schizophrenia, not all and not everyone, and again, I am not a, specialist, but they have a hard time, staying compliant with medication. Now, that being said, if she were able to do something like a conditional release where she was in a halfway house, I don't know if we even have these, but she was definitely very, very sick when she did this. Now, granted, unfortunately, it is a group home somewhere where she could be monitored, have semi-autonomy, but still have someone monitoring her medication intake. And because she's been in prison from the age of 12 to now her being 21, she is going to have the same sort of socialization and kind of emotional maturity issues that Gypsy Rose has, or Gypsy Rose Blanchard has. I always want to call her Gypsy Rose Lee. Daggone it, that musical. But the problem is she is not going to be acclimatized to society. She went into prison in 2014. We didn't have, I don't think we had, you know, X. We didn't have, streaming as much as we did YouTube. Oh, no, that's fine. It's I think that there could be something that we could do, and in between, maybe she could have furloughs. It would all depend on the reports and her ability to actually take her medication on time. What I don't think we need to do is just set her free with no conditions or lock her away and throw the key away. I don't know. I'm willing to wait and see what the reports say. But I know that she withdrew in 2022 because she didn't feel like she was ready to be out in the real world. And to me, that does show at least somewhat of self-realization, and at least she does know herself a little bit, but I don't know. Look, I'm not a doctorologist. And other things that'll make you very irritated. I can't even call them nurses. Family says jail nurses ignored man's agonizing pleas for help as he died slowly. Because of course they did. A man is dead in Minnesota after he was booked into jail, and according to a lawsuit from his family, he had his pleas for helps cruelly ignored as he suffered in agony from a perforated bowel so painful he was forced to crawl across the floor of his cell until he fatally collapsed. Lucas Bellamy was 41 years old in July 2022 when police in Minnesota arrested him for fleeing them in a suspected stolen car. He had also had brass knuckles on him. When he was booked into the jail that summer, he told jail officials up front that he had swallowed not legal pharmaceuticals in his possession right before he was arrested, according to a new lawsuit brought against Hennepin County by Bellamy's family filed this week in federal court. Bellamy's family alleged that he was then transported to Hennepin County Medical Center for treatment, but was shortly sent back to Hennepin County Adult Detention Center, where staff were given explicit instructions to monitor him for stress. Not only did they allegedly ignore him, but according to Lucas Bellamy's sister, Sarah Bellamy, the footage from inside the jail shows the nurses were ambivalent to his pain and mocked him. Quote, I can't even call some of them nurses. Their behavior perverts their word. When they put their bodies and their judgment and their disdain between my brother and life-saving care, they forfeited their right to that esteemed title, Sarah Bellamy said at a press conference recorded by Minneapolis NBC affiliate KARE. The Bellamys say Lucas struggled with opioid addiction in recent years and had battled drug and alcohol abuse since he was a teenager. Through his ups and downs, though, his family said he still managed to graduate college, get married, and have a son. Sarah Bellamy told reporters her brother was, quote, born into a deeply loving, extremely close-knit family, but his struggle with addiction could not be tamed after several attempts at rehab. His marriage was eventually dissolved as well. Then she said, quote, the trajectory of his life got darker. The entire time we did our best to keep him close to the light, to keep him fed and safe. None of us imagined his journey would end where it did, that he would die on the floor of a jail cell, while those charged with his care would mock his pleas for help and be completely ambivalent to his pain, Sarah Bellamy said, adding that her brother was not how he died and he was not his addiction. The family's attorney, Jeff Storms, wrote in a 43-page complaint obtained by Law and Crime that nurses expressed, quote, deliberate indifference to Lucas Bellamy as he was, quote, complaining of stomach pain and sat on the floor writhing and moaning when staff arrived. In grim detail, the lawsuit claims that nurses, quote, never conducted a physical exam of Lucas's abdomen despite his repeated pleas. Oh, sorry. Was making sure Fry was still asleep, and then it was a squirrel. You never know. So here's the thing. If you have a ruptured bowel, that immediately leads to septicemia. Think every bacteria, from your bowel leaking into your bloodstream. Thank you, Eris, for making sure you say all the things I don't. One nurse also allegedly ignored previous instructions that should Bellamy's condition appear to worsen, he should be sent out for emergency care. That never happened, the family claims. Quote, plaintiff anticipates defendant will argue that it was not necessary to send Lucas to the hospital because she charted that Lucas's vitals were within normal range. However, during the early presentation of a perforated bowel, the patient's vital signs may stay entirely normal. Now, my guess is if he was in a lot of pain, well, so it would, but if he is in a lot of pain, if his rupture of the bowel, if that constant pressure, the obstruction, and everything else, if he's in all of that pain, My guess is that his blood pressure, he would be sweating, he would probably be clammy. He would you would notice someone was in pain. Now, on the other hand, and to give these nurses a tiny bit of grace, just a little bit, they are in a jail. And we have seen cops before. I mean, we have seen, people claim they are innocent as they have, tried to basically commit the crime right on camera and tell the cops they have done nothing. So I am sure that the nurses are used to people telling them that they are, losing a limb, like they are dying constantly. So I'm trying to give them just a little bit of grace. Fry, could you not show your bits to everyone? Over abdominal pain is also not a typical symptom of opioid withdrawal. Therefore, when a patient has over abdominal pain, the standard of care requires the provider to conduct a physical examination of the abdomen and consider other diagnoses, as the over abdominal pain experienced by Lucas could have been indicative of several life-threatening injuries or illnesses that must have been investigated. Storms wrote, nurses at Hennepin County Adult Detention Center didn't even bother to check Bellamy's temperature, the family said. As his blood pressure soared, Bellamy couldn't stand when ordered to again and again, the lawsuit alleges. The nurse on duty failed to send the man to emergency care or ask for a special watch with additional checks. Hours later, Bellamy allegedly begged another nurse to help me, as he lay in the fetal position of his cell. Crying, he begged the nurses on staff to send him to the emergency room. Once again, Lucas crawled out of his cell on his hands and knees, the complaint says. One nurse wrote in the chart that Lucas was, quote, able to stand, walk outside his cell, and sit still for vital signs, but his family claims that this is a gross mischaracterization. Gross? I only speak one language, and sometimes I can't even do that. Gross mischaracterization of his physical abilities. As the hours passed, one nurse wrote in Lucas Bellamy's chart that he had started to whine and suggested he was faking. He was given Maalox at one point as well. Footage shows Bellamy on his hands and knees struggling to drink it. It had spilled on the floor and was never cleaned up either, the footage shows. He would eventually be found not alive, face down on the floor of his cell. Bellamy's father, Luis Bellamy, who founded a theater in St. Paul, Minnesota, told the Associated Press what he witnessed happen to his son was something he could not even imagine unfolding in a tragic play. And welcome, Giraffe Gal. And Squat Bob. Yes. Look, Fry is very proud of his bits. He won't be having them for super long time, so he must be proud of them at all times. I could not have built anything more callous, more disrespectful to humanity, human existence, than what I witnessed on that tape, he said. Storm says the family is calling on Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison to conduct an investigation. A representative for Ellison could not be reached for comment Wednesday. In a statement on behalf of Bellamy family to Law and Crime, received Thursday, Storm said in an email, quote, Lucas Bellamy endured unimaginable pain and suffering like you would see in a horror movie. Now, I will go ahead here and put a caveat that he did ingest of his own volition illicit substances to hide them from police officers after he was caught in evading them in a car chase. That being said, look, the nurses are there. They should have been doing their job. Even-handedly, I understand that they are in a jail, but if you are that burnt out that you have lost the ability to, have any dams left, then you need to leave that job. I'm just saying. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office reportedly refused to comment on the ongoing lawsuit, but said, quote, "Our deepest sympathies go out to the Bellamy family and all those affected by Bellamy's death. We remain committed to professionally serving all people in our facilities and under our care with compassion, dignity, and respect." Um, y'all might want to get them at least a damn Hallmark card. Hennepin County Healthcare also reportedly refused to comment on pending litigation, but did say in a statement, "As a healthcare organization committed to serving our community, we join with others in sending our condolences to a family for the loss of their son," the statement said. Hennepin County representatives told Minneapolis CBS affiliate WCCO, "While we cannot comment on pending litigation, our sympathy is with the Bellamy family." Well, there you go. Look, I think the family brings up a really good point here, regardless of where you stand on anything. This gentleman wasn't his addiction. This gentleman wasn't where his choices had left him there. He was still a human. And, if you take a job as a nurse in a prison or a jail, area, then these are the type of people that you are going to be dealing with. And if you're not able to show compassion and grace to them, then perhaps don't go and work with these people. Look, I can totally get it. You can get burnt out. There are a lot of people, that will test your patience, I'm sure, in the prison system. And, but these people are our family members, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, are someone to other people, and that's something that, should be kept in mind. Uh, well, now these two can go, and I believe we have a first-class one-way ticket to Snake Island. That's right. Annoying protesters who do nothing but try to destroy good art for their ridiculousness and waste soup. Because, nothing makes you want to give up oil or whatever it is that they're blathering on about than, trying to toss Campbell's Chunky on the Mona Lisa. Two protesters on Sunday hurled soup at the bulletproof glass protecting Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa in Paris. Look, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out if I'm related to Jesus. Gotta love the Da Vinci Code. Demanding the right to healthy and sustainable food. Y'all just threw a can of damn... How are you gonna whine about healthy, sustainable food? You just threw a damn can of Chunky Campbell's on freaking Mona Lisa. I mean, I hate to be that mom, but there are starving kids all over the world that would love that soup. The action, which comes as French farmers protest across the country, is the latest in a string of similar tantrums against artwork to demand more action to protect the planet. Hey, here's a note. Maybe if you guys weren't raging dill holes, look, here's the best way to not get people on your side. Be condescending jerks who are about 23 and you try to tell people, how to do things when you've never farmed, when you've never done a job. It's called a gerb. Beyond, slacktivism on your MacBook at Starbucks or gluing yourself to a motorway. Please, please, Lord, tell us how to be better. You know, Skylar, we're all waiting. Two women on Sunday flung streams of red and orange soup onto the glass protecting the smiling lady to gasps from the crowd in the French capital's Louvre Museum. What is more important, art or the right to a healthy and sustainable food? They asked, standing in front of the painting, speaking in turn. Welcome, Peter A. Your agricultural system is sick. Your farmers are dying at work, they added before security staff placed black screens in front of them and evacuated the room. A group called Ripostier Alimentaire, or Food Counterattack, claimed responsibility for the stunt. Look, make them go work as farmers. I have a cure for this. It's called you get to be a farmer, and you get to be a farmer, and you get to be a farmer. In a statement sent to AFP, they said the soup throwing marked the start of a campaign of civil resistance with the clear demand of Social Security of sustainable food. The action comes as French farmers have been protesting for days to demand better pay, taxes, and regulations. The government has been trying to keep discontent among the agricultural workers from spreading months ahead of the European Parliament elections, which are seen as a key test for President Emmanuel Macron's government. Oh. In other news, farmers grow your food. Stop trying to strangle them to death with freaking regulations. That's just me. Oh, that's a whole lot of... Okay, come on. So I saw this and, I am not currently dating as I am married, but I figured I would bring some dating advice. So apparently, this woman canceled on a date as he was on his way to pick her up because this text was a major red flag. Now, let's see if it really was. One text from a woman's potential suitor landed him in the doghouse. Oh Lord. I'm going to go with Yusta Sasha, who goes by something on TikTok, posted a video on the platform explaining why she canceled on her date while he was on her way to pick her up. Quote, I am in shock and I need to tell people what just happened because of course, if we have something personal happen, we can't help but stop and tell the internets about it. Saya from London said in a video which has garnered over 4.5 million views since being posted last January. Well, I have seen the videos of protesters getting sprayed with fertilizer to make them extra fertile, I guess. I don't know. Oh. Let's see. I'm dressed to get dinner tonight and this man is on his way. He's booked dinner and he's coming to pick me up, she continued before revealing his major faux pas. When he was just 30 minutes from her house, look, I'm just going to call her Sasha from now on. Look, ma'am, sorry, but I've made up a different name for you. Said her date sent her the following text. All right, you shallow B word, don't judge my car. I've had it since I was 18 and no one has a car in London. Well. Sir, maybe assuming she was a shallow B. I mean, The man's disrespect was appalling to her, especially since they were just getting to know each other. Quote, he's a 30 plus man who has a normal career. We barely have a relationship. It's only our second time getting dinner together, she explained. She said even if they had known each other for longer, she still would have felt uncomfortable and said, I barely call my friends cuss words. I mean, okay, maybe phrasing on his part, but how many times has he probably gotten told by women or something, look, he shouldn't have phrased it this way. I am not defending him, but how many times has he probably pulled up and some high maintenance heifer has said, ew, your car. And and then he's felt the need to have to defend himself, saying, look, it's paid off. I have a house. What do you want from me? Eris, I'm not pulling that up, but I don't, well, it's in London, so I don't know. Unsure about what to do, she reached out to her younger brother, who advised her to cancel on the date. She initially felt bad about canceling because he was already on his way, but she decided not to go anyhow. Quote, then I thought to myself, this is not okay for me, and these are my standards. I don't want to get dinner with someone that can just call me that whenever they want, she said. When her date arrived, she told him the date was off, and he left, but not without calling her to moan about being quote unquote rude before hanging up on her when she told him how she felt. He later changed his tune and sent her a long a song apology 10 minutes later. Quote, this is a grown man over 30 thinking it's okay to call a woman a B word before coming to pick her up for dinner. Again, how many times... look, I have seen some of the things that you heifers who are out dating require of men before you go out to date with them, but put no requirements on yourself for any betterment. I've seen, he has to be 6'2" or 5. He has to have a six-figure job. He has to have a six-pack. He has to be able to, carry me out of a fire. But I am beautiful at any size. I mean, look, again, I am not saying that his delivery was great, but they there comes a point when maybe we have dogged on men a whole hell of a lot, and he's maybe just gotten a little bit tired of the comments that he's had to deal with other women. So instead of, saying, hey, I really don't, first of all, you could have said, hey, I'm not shallow. I guess you've probably had some really bad experiences. I don't care about your car. I really would rather not be called that. But again, I'm really tired of a lot of these women that my sons are going to go into the dating world. I am perfect in every way, and a man just has to accept me. And, but he has to change this, that, and he has to do better. And it's just, no. I mean, again, he shouldn't have approached her that way. He shouldn't have said that way. But this double standard where, again, it, if you are constantly told every 5 minutes, don't be a toxic man, don't do this, don't approach a woman, you might look creepy, don't look like this, better yourself, make sure you have all the money, make sure you have this, it's a hard economy, and then maybe it was just one comment too many, and the last woman he went on a date with gave him a whole bunch of hell for his car, and he didn't know if she was going to be the same type of way. Look, did he handle it right? No, but there you go. In other news, ma'am, get your house in order. Y'all, it I only stream every night at 7 o'clock, but y'all, no, come into my room. I'm getting a door with lasers and alligators. I just am. In a story that ticked off nearly everyone, what is wrong with you? A mother brought a shivering 2-year-old boy to Walmart in a diaper only in sub-freezing temps, police say. A mother in Mississippi was arrested after she allegedly brought her 2-year-old son to a Walmart wearing only a diaper when the temperature outside was below freezing in an incident captured in a viral video. Cambria Darby, 26, is facing a child neglect charge after concerned shoppers at a Walmart in Byram, a suburb of Jackson, called police on January 17th after seeing the boy wearing just a diaper. Look, I get that Mississippi doesn't generally have super cold weather, but it's still cold. What the heck is wrong with you, ma'am? Employee Felicia Darling took a video of Darby on her phone and posted it to Facebook, but it has since been taken down. A version of the video on TikTok has garnered over 15 million views. A shopper gave the boy something to put over his body, but the boy's lips were still shivering as he sat in the cart. At one point, Darby throws a package from the frozen food aisle on the boy's legs. Ma'am, you're putting cold food on this child, one man says. What's wrong with you? Darby starts arguing with the man calling her out, telling him to lower his voice. Somebody call the police on her, Darling says during the video. When you come in the store fully dressed and your baby's not, poor baby. Another shopper comes over and puts some more clothes on him as others called the police. Cops came, arrested Darby on child neglect charge, and took her to Hinds County Detention Center, where she has since bonded out. Local CBS affiliate WJTV reported Child Protective Services came and released the child to an approved relative. Temperatures that day were 20 degrees cooler with colder wind chills, the television station said. Darby's relative came to her defense, saying she's a good mother who made a mistake. No, making a mistake is like, okay. Making a mistake is like, oh, I guess I'll let him wear flip-flops today. No, him being naked is not a mistake. I am confused. You are able to dress yourself, climate appropriately. It's called a zipper. It's called footy pajamas if you are that, it's that daggone difficult, ma'am. I am sorry, Lefty Lutz. Quote, everything I've seen with her and the kids has been positive, Darby's great aunt, Marie Darby Pickens, told the New York Post. I don't condone what was done, and it was right to be reported, but we don't know both sides of the story. What, did the wind blow off his clothes? Just blew it off, like she was struggling to get inside. The wind chill just took off the daggone zip-up footy pajamas, and she was running inside to buy him some new daggone footy pajamas. January's trying to give me an aneurysm. Sometimes kids can be difficult not wanting to put their clothes on. Yes, but you're the parent. Or taking them off, and maybe she was in a rush to pick some things up. Darling claims Walmart fired her because of posting the video despite taking it down as requested. She started a GoFundMe. Well, of course the story has a GoFundMe. I mean, a GoFundMe page that has raised over $30,000. Quote, no, I wasn't thinking about the consequences at the time. At the time, my main focus was on that poor innocent child and to get him some help. Yes, I posted the video to my Facebook page because I wanted to reach out to some of her family members and caseworkers, she wrote. So there you go. I mean, look, as far as the employee posting it to Facebook, again, do we need to put every single thing that we see, we live, we interact with on the Facebook? Probably not. I'm glad that since she got fired, she's getting help from people that want to donate, but I don't know. It's just it's a little skeevy to me, but I am glad that she at least stepped up and got the child some clothes in the moment. Now, I am going to let you guys go. You are being redirected to my stream. I am going to hang out with Shizzy for a little bit, not for the whole probably stream, but we are going to continue to watch, well, Miss Sadie try to talk about yes. Well, so I believe she lost her job because she posted the video of her confronting the mother to Facebook, or at least that's what she's saying. Now, I don't know if she's also got fired for confronting the mother, but what she says on the go, or what she's stating is that it was because she posted the video to Facebook. But I am glad that since she did lose her job, if people felt like they wanted to donate, they could donate. But still, the whole thing seems a bit redonkulous to me, but it is January 2024. So if it is stupid, it might just be dumb enough to be real. All right, Freiberto, you need to go out, and then I will be hanging out with Shizzy for a little bit, and we will be going over some more of Sadie's interview, where she is totally, allegedly not guilty. I mean, totally innocent. So I will see you guys there in a little bit. I'm going to take him out because he needs to potty outside. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you there in a little bit. If not, have a wonderful evening and say something kind to yourself and something kind to others, and I will tell him to link you. You know, as an introvert, a compliment is an easy way to do peopling and, not be so awkward when peopling. Good night, everyone.